Hello and welcome my friends. Today we're taking a look at Tearlaments. I just did a deck profile, so check it out on my channel if you haven't not done so. We will draw some test hands and show up what the deck potentially can do. Obviously I'm not on a level that I win YCSs every day, so I will make some mistakes. Let me know down below what I did wrong, what we can all improve on, so that we can all maybe learn from this. With that said, maybe consider subscribing to not miss out on future test hands and deck profiles. And also maybe check out my channel if you're interested in, let's say, Mikanko content. But with that out of the way, let's get right into the test hands. So now we're coming into some test hands. Let me pirate shuffle the deck. And I'm going to repeat myself. I love this tier deck, but I am absolutely not a pro. I've watched a lot, I've played a lot with myself. So yeah, I will make some errors and I hope you can bear with it, but I think this will be a little fun activity to do. And personally, I'm going to be honest, as much as I hope someone out there will have some fun watching this video and maybe learn something, I'm mostly looking forward to learn from you guys, and that will also help everyone else. So that's what I like about these YouTube videos. And even with so little views, so little subscribers and whatever else, man, who cares? Like, so many nice comments, so many helpful people. And with that, I know it myself, right? The comment sections under other YouTubers, Yugi-tubers as well. Besides the memes, I guess, so many helpful things really to pick up. And help us all improve our game. So let's draw our first test hand. We start with Reinoheart, Herald, Kashtira, King of the Swamp, and another Herald. So this is a pretty neat little hand. We have different plays coming into this. I think most of them will start with activating the King of the Swamp effect, if I'm not mistaken, which will allow us to discard and then search out our fusion spell. Let's see, where is it here? So what we're going to do now is activate the Reinoheart, and while normal summoning Diviner is a good line, and we might get to that, I personally would like to use Scheiren, because Scheiren here has a really neat thing that it can do for us. It can also send the Tearlaments Kashtira, which again is not a name for a card, it's 2 archetypes, but that's also this card. It can send it to the graveyard, which will activate its mill effect. With Scheiren's mill, we should be able to mill 5, which is fine. Then we can normal Diviner anyway to mill some more. And Diviner, Scheiren, even if we don't want to fusion summon then with all these cards into Lulu, we could set up a Baron de Floor. But let's see first what kinds of mills we have. So we activate Scheiren's effect here to special summon. We are going to put Kashtira into the graveyard, and then, because this mills more, let's make this Chainlink 1, this Chainlink 2. We will mill some cards. Let's move our hand to the side so we can take a good look. Nessi, Super Bully, and another Nessi. Oh no, my shuffling was bad. So that's 3. And then 2 more. We hit, we hit 1. So as Nessi only triggers if it's discarded from hand, this doesn't do anything. But the positive is Scream does something. Scream will add us 1 Tearlaments trap card to our hand. We will have some options. Usually Scream is the best one if we're being honest. So now, considering the state of this game, we've added a nice trap, but we don't really have many more plays, at least in my eyes. But we have a Tearlaments in grave and the King of the Swamp in grave, so if we get some fusion started, we have some options. And we also still have not normal summon, so normal summoning Diviner is the play, I think, in every world here. But the question is, what do we send? I think we have 2 options. We either get into our deck and send a lovely, more card, which will obviously be great. Or this might be a bit of a reach, but we can mill the Entis, destroy the Scheiren, which will mean she is being sent to graveyard by card effect, which will allow her to fuse, which would allow us to go into different lines of plays. We could either make Rukolos or the Kaleidoheart, because King of the Swamp can become Reinoheart or the Kid Keldos. And we have everything else, Dark Aquas or Tearlament names, well, you name it. So that is a line of play which would leave our end board with Diviner or Rukolos, or Diviner and Kaleidoheart, which is pretty lovely. And we can even destroy the Diviner with the Perlerino if we want to get rid of any vulnerabilities. But we also have the option to send Agido Kelbek and mill 5, hope we hit something, and go off from there. If we don't hit anything, we still have a level 6 and a level 4, which will make Baron. Making Baron won't trigger Scheiren's effect though, which is a problem, and without the Tearlaments, Scream becomes worse. So we can go for a high roll, which will leave us with Baron nothing. And as fun as it is to mill 5, I think ending with the Fusion and the Rukolos is just a bit better. Maybe there's a line I'm not seeing, sorry for that. I mean, we have the Poly, but don't really have anything to make with it, really. It would be pretty lovely if we could, well, Poly off, send Scheiren like that and go on from there. But sadly, that's not something I see here. So Diviner will send the Entis into the graveyard, become level 4, but that doesn't really matter. Scheiren will send to the graveyard by card effect Destruction, and that will allow her to fuse with the King of the Swamp to make the Rukolos. Both of these will be put under the deck. We can now even use the Perlerino to destroy the Herald. Now we would just set the Scream. And I mean, for next turn, we have a Fusion, we have another normal summon to mill 5 and go from there. At least for our opponent's turn, we have still the Rukolos, the Perlerino, and a Scream to potentially do some more. So overall, I mean, this end board is a bit sad. Usually Tier wants to continue playing in your opponent's turn, but I think this time it will, yeah, be a bit lackluster. Overall, if I made some errors, please let me know. I also always try to get better, but hey. Okay, so coming into our next set of test hands, the first one, I mean, was a bit underwhelming, but again, the deck, it got cucked, man, it can't do the same things anymore. I'm going to shuffle a bit in front of the cam because, yeah, I kind of realized I need to continuously shuffle due to the fact that you could say, oh yeah, you're stacking your deck, you're stacking the mills, which I mean, look at my mills, it didn't really look all that great. So 5 cards here, again, Kashtira, that's the benefit of playing 3, you see it more often. We also see Agido, another Diviner, okay, Terraforming and Super Poly. So Super Poly is a great card setting us up for our opponent's turn, right? There's the potential to Super Poly, send the Kashtira, and well, you go from there. You get rid of your opponent's monster, you get the Perlerino, right? I mean, you can just, let's just exchange the Terraforming for the Perlerino. What a nice thing. So setting the Perlerino, right? And then in our opponent's turn, Fusion Summon with a set Super Poly, sending the Kashtira here. Not only getting the pop, not only getting a Fusion Summon monster, but we also get the mill 2 from the tier Kashtira. So we already have some really nice stuff going on with that. We have the Diviner again to mill 4, great benefit. Again, we can also do a similar thing, right? Like we did last time with the Diviner, the Perlerino sent Scheiren, Scheiren sent Kashtira, mill 5, look to go from there, Diviner effect, then normal summon. We can, with this, we can do the same thing with better mills, maybe we get somewhere else. And then for our opponent's turn, I mean, what is better than milling 2? I guess milling 5. So again, let's just do the same thing as last time, activating the Perlerino. And I guess we don't have access to King of the Swamp. That's actually pretty fucking big. This time we might be screwed without that. Anyway, let's add the Scheiren. Let's mill all the King of the Swamps. Please, please be on top of the deck. Please, please, please. Ay. Okay, then we go. Let's go, guys. Wish me luck. Put the hand away, mill 5. Another Kashtira. The effect is a hard once per turn, so we won't get to mill more. Again, by the way, mills 3, mills 2, so this is our chainlink 1, chainlink 2. We get a Reinoheart, that means we have access to our Kaleido Heart. We also have the Dark Aqua, so that's something. It's our first 3, and okay, extra foolish. And the last one is polymerization. It could be worse, it could be better, I think. So, yeah, the Reinoheart would be great, but the problem is we used the wrong discard fodder. If we would have used Agido here, instead of the Tear Kashtira, we would have had a potential card for the Reinoheart graveyard effect. But, sadly, we didn't. And I can see the argument for just milling the Agido of Scheiren. But yeah, so with this, sadly, we won't be able to revive our Reinoheart to get the advantages from that, but we still have him on grave. So this time, again, normal summoning the Diviner. Effects, we can have two options. Mill something, like the Kelbek, Agido is in hand, right? Or we do the same thing as last time. Mill Entes, destroy Scheiren, Scheiren effect in grave, to fuse with the Reinoheart and the Nessi. Then we have two Aquas and the Reinoheart and can make a Kaleido Heart. And then Kaleido Heart is at least something. It's good, but it's not the highest priority end board card, right? Lulu obviously is a bit better. But then we would have had Kaleido and Super Poly with Agido and potential pops with the Perlerino as well. Which, again, we take something with some value, or we play some roulette and then at worst end up with Baron and Super Poly, which again has the Perlerino. And as lovely as Kaleido had is of a card, I think this time we go for some roulette. Let's go, let's go. Herald of Arclight, mill the Kelbek. Then we have to shuffle our deck, right? Shuffle the deck, shuffle the deck. Okay, so cue the music, it's mill 5. We hit one crime, a Keldo, okay, so some shufflers for our opponent's turn. Foolish Barrel, okay, not bad, that doesn't do anything. A Perlerino, that's not good. And a King of the Swamp. We're winning, guys. Oh my, oh my. So, we don't have any fusion effects right now, right? We can't trigger anything here, really. Our board also used its effect, etc. But at least now, for the mills of the Agido, we have good fodder, right? We really just need to hit either the Havnis or the Merrli, which... if you think about it, this is probably still like 20-25 cards. I don't know, we can count, but it's actually not that likely. This is horrible, but hey, keep the copium up, because if we hit something, we have a King of the Swamp to make the Lulu, and maybe something else if we want to. But anyway, so at this point here, we don't really have too many more plays. But the thing is, I think we have two options or two things we really need to consider here. If we synchro into Baron, that's great and all, but the thing is, our Super Poly, depending on what the opponent does, sure, there's a nice way we can get into something like this, but I mean, we don't have the fusion monster for this, and how likely is it that they have a wind monster? So actually, Super Polying would only work if they have two monsters on field. I don't know about that one. So this is a downside with Super Poly. It's not even a guaranteed removal here, right? They need to play two monsters which fulfill either of these categories to then do something, which would be great. But who knows, right? The Baron the floor, even after the negate/pop, we can't really use her reliably with Super Poly for our own monsters. We have another option here instead of going for the synchro play, and that is making the sprite sprint, or, which I don't really like too much in this case here, is the cross sheep. Cross sheep is great, but due to the fact of what resources we have, we can only Super Poly into one of the arrows, And again, that would require our opponent to do something, because using Cross Sheep as material does not work well. Not only that, it defeats the purpose of the card entirely, or at least our intended usage here. The only issue with Sprint here is that, I mean, maybe we didn't do it right if we close both our eyes, but we kind of used Herald's effect and then changed its level because we wanted to go into Synchro and then also have some plays with the mills. The mills didn't really net it too much, but yeah, that kind of screwed us over because Sprint requires a level 2, which Diviner isn't anymore. So that's the issue. If you use Diviner's effect, you kind of lock yourself into the Baronne, while Sprite Sprint could mill Merrli, and I mean, we like Merrli effect into all this goodness here. We can make the Reinoheart, we can make anything with the King of the Swamp, so that is something great. And again, and getting a fusion out, like let's say any of the main lines, with the Super Poly will enable a switch out into the Dracostapelia as well. So yeah, that is always a heads up. I guess you see it here. Me making maybe a misplay here, using the Diviner's effect to change its level will mean that we have to go into the Baronne because we don't really have anything else. And with that, we have Baronne and Super Poly Agido, which will mill 5 more. Right, so Super Poly effect, right, discard Agido, which will discard Agido, and then we will mill 5 more, as long as I understand this correctly, right? So Super Poly is kind of discarding for cost, not effect. Hopefully that is how this works with Agido. Let's see what 5 other cards we would mill. That is certainly something. We milled a Shuffler, so right, we also have Kelbek, don't forget that. So we can screw up our opponent's grave now twice. We get the Beast, which will draw us into a Scream. And we had another King of the Swamp for more fusion plays. But overall, we don't hit any tier name. And that's the problem with this deck, sadly, right now. We don't hit the tier names. We do relatively little. And before we end this test hand video, I just want to remind you, we could also special out Scheiren, right, with the effect that we used at the very start, right? Scheiren, discard and mill 5, and then we could have normaled Agido and then just went into this, into Time Thief Redoer Pass, and then activate Redoer effect, and depending on what we get, we might be able to like do some fusion plays. But overall, the question is, do you want to go Redoer Pass or Baronne Pass? But the thing is, obviously, normal summoning the Diviner can net us some really big benefits. But I guess if you don't want to go into any crazy, or hopefully we get some good mills situations, or want to diminish the luck, which back then the deck, we had so many hits, right? We had so many wins with all the tier names. We weren't really even playing lucky games with our mills because it was kind of guaranteed that we're going to hit at least 1, 2, 3 cards that have any positive effects. Right now it's less likely. We only have 3 tier names that fuse on mill, and we play a 40 card deck, right? That I am not a mathematician, but that has to be a low probability. So doing anything that guarantees that the Scheiren that we get through our searches actually gets to fuse is a huge play. So I also am still learning. Hopefully you can let me know what you think and what you value here more. Obviously there's always the element of, if I get better mills and if my hand cards are different, then I can do certain things more. Sure, hindsight is 2020, but overall, hope you enjoyed yourself with this little test hand video. Obviously, one of the main things I got to show off is Diviner, send Entis, destroy a tier or destroy something to proc the effects, which I think is a very lovely interaction that this deck can do with the Entis, obviously adding more flexibility. So I hope you enjoyed today's Tearlaments test hands. Again, if you want to see the deck list, it should be linked in the description below. If not, then check out the deck profile video also on my channel, of course. And again, if I did some oopsies, please let me know down below in the comment section. And maybe you just want to check it out because there are always nice people commenting and yeah, giving us all advice to improve further. And if you're already down there, maybe let me know what kind of deck and test hands you want to see next, considering Gate Guardians and maybe Sword Soul, but just let me know and maybe I'll see what I can do. And to not miss out on these videos, maybe you want to subscribe, but hey. And with all of that blah blah out of the way, I wish you all a great day, take care, until next time, bye bye.